And my children, as always, ran up to me, "Mommy, Mommy," and gave me a hug in the hallway. And I swear to God, I never held them before. I never held them. I mean, I had, over and over.
Yeah.
But I really held them. They were just, that all is one thing. It's very obvious.
Yes, yes.
And it's always there. It's always obvious.
Beautiful.
Yeah, but it was
Could they sense the difference?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think they probably find I'm not so much of a drag anymore. A bit more fun.
So, do you enjoy the ego of your husband?
Well, I do actually. He's a good balance to me. He's lovely. He's sweet. He just thinks this is a lot of nonsense, honestly. My blog and I tried to read your blog. What are you on about? And it's hilarious. And he's a good balance for me, in the story of our lives. But he's beautifully supportive. He's like, "Oh, call me up, say good luck on your thing today," and so yeah, I do. I really enjoy him. I really do. Of course, he's on my nerves, but I get on his nerves.
Yes,
it's very ordinary.
Yeah,
this is what we're trying to talk about here. It is very normal and ordinary, and it's just this. It's just this. Whatever this is. Whatever it is, what we're trying to speak about, it's always here.
Yet, we have, some people sit 20, 25 years in a cave to find that out.
I'm glad that wasn't my story.
Yeah, it's very well hidden.
Yeah, it's hidden by its obviousness.
So, one thing I want to ask you is, how does one actually know if a true awakening happened, and it's not just a delusion in their mind, and they just made the leap in their mind? How does one know that?
No, there's definitely a difference between really understanding this and sort of accepting it, and truly letting go, I suppose. Truly just letting go and letting everything be. I think that it's just very obvious if it's happened. Nothing's happening. I find that difficult to answer.
Yeah.
I think that you just know. You just know.
Okay.
And I think it can just happen that you just have a little moment maybe where you just realize you've always known.
Yes.
You've always known.
But then, isn't the ego then coming back in again and make somehow this knowing to its own territory?
Well, yeah, I think that sort of thing can definitely be the story for some people.
Yeah.
What seems to happen for me is that, a little ego concern will kind of come up, you know, but it's so easily seen through. It's not the be-all and end-all at all. It's very inconsequential. It doesn't have much importance. I think that's, I suppose, a big tendency is to, I want it to be better, anything but this. I want a better life. I want it to be better. Oh, this enlightenment stuff sounds great. I want some of that.
Yeah.
And you could still have a glimpse if you manage, I don't know, everybody manages to have no thought or whatever, where everything seems a bit more obvious. And they have a glimpse, and then they seem to come back and, I want it. But there's nothing wrong with that. I suppose there's nothing wrong with never getting it. It's all part of what's happening. There's really nothing wrong with not getting this. And that desperate longing, I know it's difficult. But the answer is that it's here. It's here. What you're looking for is right here.
Somehow we have, or at least I have this picture. If more and more people would get it, then we would have a better world.
Well, I love the world.
But you said there's nothing wrong with having this world and with all its suffering and its wars and death and
I think
nastiness.
This is a difficult one for people, I suppose.
Yeah.
And it's perhaps one of the biggest difficulties or stumbling blocks, maybe. Don't tell the ego that this is okay, that this world is the utopia that we've always wanted, with all of its ups and downs and pain and suffering and war and poverty. And there'll be poverty, there'll be people that are trying to relieve that poverty. There's all these stories going on. There's going to be war, and then there'll be people working very hard for peace. There'll be really selfish people and people who are incredibly altruistic, and all of this is happening. And in this duality that we negotiate through, or seem to, there needs to be balance. It's all balanced. There has to be up for down, dark for light, in for out, good for bad. And it's in balance. It's in balance. Yeah. Now, I think it's very possible that the whole story of the world, it's just speculation, we could all unite and come together, and there'd be like very little poverty, and it could be like the Star Trek universe where there's no money and everybody works to better themselves all the time, and explore space and does all these fantastic things, and the potential of humanity is unlocked. And that's just another really nice story, but probably in individual stories there would still be plenty of ups and downs and pain and suffering, and maybe not the whole thing being so much as nations deprived or groups of people hungry. But there might be lots of mental anguish. There's always going to be balance. That's just a speculation, I don't know what I'm talking about.
So from your point of view, there is a balance in this world. Also, for me, it looks pretty much being out of balance, going down a tube, extinguishing. We are committing suicide or something like that.
Well, it's possible. There's a couple of things I could think of to say for that. Is that sometimes there's a period of out of balance, and then it swings back to in balance. Or over on the other side, overbalanced. I don't know what the other side of that is. The other thing is, I don't know that the world is that going down the toilet. Gosh, we've got a lot less disease than we ever used to. The resources that we have are amazing. The internet and the communication that we have in the story of our lives, it's amazing. And that is slowly becoming more available to more people, and there certainly seems to me to be a lot of effort going on to eradicate poverty and to solve all those problems that are out there, and people sure seem, if the press is to be believed, and they're probably not, they seem to be trying to get ourselves out of the sticky situation with the planet and and global, not warming, what do they call it now? What's the PC thing? Climate change.
Climate change.
And I think that fear is got a big voice.
Yeah,
and it's reflected perhaps
force.
In the media. You tend to hear the fearful stories that'll make you buy that paper or whatever, and the great good that goes on, it just doesn't get reported as much.
No, you're right.